Hello friends, welcome back to my workshop. This is Jeannie from Dollhouse Rescue. I'm going to do a couple of short videos here about specific topics. So sometimes people get a vintage metal dollhouse and they want to know the correct way to clean it. Well, I'm just going to cover that in a few steps here. That way they may not want to do a complete rehab, but they just have questions about how to clean it safely. So I'm going to share what I know from my experience. I have two dollhouse floors here, and I think I'll probably clean them both just for the practice and the experience. This one, it's got some paint gone. I'll be doing some painting to it later, but first let's clean it up. Now this one has got glue on it, and I have already tried to remove that glue. I feel like I removed a little bit here, but when I did, I took a little of the paint off. So I think I am just going to paint over those dark spots and see how that looks. If I don't like it, I can always do something different later. But let's go ahead and clean it. I've tried to get that glue off. It doesn't want to come. Step number one, I like to test my cleaners on the house to make sure you're not going to damage it. And I do that by doing it on the bottom. Now this house has been taken apart. In fact, it was shipped to me flat. But you don't have to take yours apart to clean it. But tip it up and test it right here on the bottom or on the bottom of the roof. That's step number one. I'm going to use two different cleaners today. One is rubbing alcohol, just like you buy at the drugstore or at the pharmacy. And number two, I'll go over it with a non-sudsy cleaner. The one I'm using today is Awesome Cleaner from the Dollar Tree. This is my spray bottle. I keep rubbing alcohol in it. Now I spray on my paper towel. I never spray liquid on my dollhouses. I want to avoid getting liquid anywhere where it might settle or take too long to dry and cause rust. Remember, test on the bottom first. I've already tested this one, but you'd want to do a test spot. Make sure you're not removing the paint and make sure it's not getting sticky or gummy where you've used your cleaner. I've already tested this one. I'm going to go over it real quick with rubbing alcohol. Remember, I sprayed it on my towel, then I give it kind of a quick rub. Be careful, you can scrub too hard, you can scrub the graphics off, and if you do, well, then you'd have, it look a little worse than it did at the start. So, give it a quick rub off and see how it goes. This is a good way to kind of get a preliminary idea on what you're going to need to do on this house. Step number two, I go through it, over it again. Same thing, same step, only this time I use a non-sudsy cleaner. This is in a different bottle than I bought it in. This is actually Awesome Cleaner from the Dollar Tree. The Spray 9 cleaner is also a very good cleaner. I just happen to like the spray bottle better. When my Spray 9 ran out, I filled it up with Awesome Cleaner. Again, spray on your towel, not on your dollhouse. And rub it off. Rub it gently. Don't scrub too hard. Don't scratch. Don't get too much liquid. Don't spend too much time on one spot. You just want to get it clean. You don't want to scrub those graphics off or harm them. Another note is I like to do the front and the back both, just in case there's anything like nicotine or anything on the back that maybe you can't even see it. But I like to know I've done my best to clean it. And I do all the walls the same way. And the ceilings and the roof, I do it all this very same way. All right, this is as clean as it's probably going to get. I am going to touch up the paint a little bit on this one. I did find if I use a little bit of sandpaper on those bigger bumps of glue, I can make those a little more flush. But be careful as you do that. You can sand your paint off. And then if it was me, then I'd want to go back and retouch that up. But I think what I'm going to do is just paint over those little lumps and see how it looks. One more bit of advice before I let you go is if you have an area that's real rusty, you might want to use a different rag to wash that area than the rest of the house. You can pick up some little metal filings or rust filings from those rust spots. And then as you wash the other areas that are more smooth, you can actually scratch those. So switch your rag often if you've got rusty spots. Otherwise, I generally use the same rag and do like one whole piece with one rag. All right, that's it for cleaning. It is not a hard process. Don't rub too hard, don't use too much liquid, and do a test spot first. All right, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Remember, you've got a friend here in Iowa, a lot of friends in our Facebook groups. I hope you'll join us, and please subscribe. I very much appreciate it.